Hi, I'm Jasmine from San Francisco. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. I was born with cherry lips and big black eyes. My parents said I looked like a child out of a fairy tale. But whenever Mom and Dad talked to me, I never smiled or changed my facial expression. My parents tried everything to make me smile.
Mrs. Rabbit wants to play with you.
Come on, give Mr. Mouse a kiss.
Dad held a mouse puppet close to my face and made kissing noises. But I just stared blankly and slapped the mouse away from me. That's when my parents decided to take me to a doctor. After a few tests, I found out I had a condition called Mobius that meant I couldn't smile, frown, or lift my eyebrows. I was too young to understand what Mobius was, but when I was in preschool, Mom and I were at the mall when we bumped into one of her friends who had a daughter my age. She kept smiling at me, but all I could do was stare at her like a robot. Suddenly, the little girl started to cry.
Mommy, this girl is scaring me.
Oh, sweetie, don't be scared. Our dog ran away yesterday, so Jasmine's just sad.
But Mom, we don't have a dog? Mom pulled me away quickly. That's when I realized she was embarrassed to tell her friend I had a condition because that meant I wasn't normal like everyone else. And at school, none of the kids really wanted to be my friend because they thought I was strange. So I spent most of my time alone. But several months later, my life took a huge turn. Mom gave birth to my twin sisters, Kiara and Helena. My parents worked full-time, so we always had a maid in the house. But even with a maid, I was always the main one to watch my sisters. One day, Helena, the wilder twin, climbed all the way to the top of our backyard fence. Helena, come down right now!
No, I don't wanna. Kiara, come climb up and we can fly like birds do.
No, no flying! Kiara listened to me, but Helena was about to jump and my heart almost stopped. But then she started laughing like crazy.
Haha, fooled you!
I was furious and told Mom what Helena did. Mom went ballistic.
What is the matter with you, Helena? Why can't you be a good girl like your sisters?
Helena's eyes filled with tears. From that day on, she made everyone's life a living nightmare. She hated me for telling on her. And over time, Helena grew jealous of Kiara. Kiara was what you call gifted and could get straight A without even trying. One time, when the girls were in 4th grade, Mom and Dad threw Kiara a huge party for winning the school's spelling bee.
Our little Einstein, we're so proud of you, Kiara.
Helena stormed out of the room at that moment. And that night, she chopped off all of Kiara's hair while everyone was sleeping. Kiara burst into tears, and I tried to comfort her. Don't worry, it'll grow back.
Helena's such a mean bully.
I won't let her bully you anymore. Kiara, I'm here. Kiara slept in my room every night after that because she was terrified of Helena. I loved both my sisters, but Helena grew up to be so mean. Then one day in 8th grade, a new boy joined my class. His name was Daniel, and he wore those fat black spectacles. He was really short and really shy. While he was walking to class, this guy bumped into him and his glasses went flying. Daniel started freaking out.
I can't see anything!
I saw Daniel's glasses on the floor and picked them up quickly. Here you go! But it looks like they're broken!
It's okay, it's better than nothing.
Daniel put on his broken glasses. He looked silly, but also kind of cute. He and I ended up hanging out for the rest of the day, and he was super sweet and good to talk to. Over time, Daniel and I became really close, and I even started having feelings for him. But he always just treated me as a friend, and I didn't want to ruin what we had. Life in high school was good till Kiara and Helena joined and things got a little crazy. Whenever Helena saw me with Daniel, she grabbed the chance to make fun of me. One time Daniel and I were in the hallway when we passed Helena putting on lipstick.
Hey, Daniel, don't you ever get bored of hanging out with sad face emoji over here?
Of course not. That's not a nice thing to say, Helena.
Yeah, get out of my sight before you regret it.
Okay, but first I need to do this.
Before I knew it, Helena had pinned me against the locker and drew a smile on my face with her lipstick.
You look so much better now.
I pushed Helena to the ground and she fell on her butt. She dragged me down, but Daniel stepped in.
Cut it out, Helena!
Daniel pulled me up and led me to the girls' bathroom. He helped me rinse the lipstick smile off, and I looked at my face in the mirror. Daniel, do you think I'm ugly? You can tell me the truth!
Jasmine, look at me. You're not ugly. I think you're the most beautiful girl I've ever seen.
Daniel leaned in and kissed me, and I felt butterflies. A bunch of girls came in just then and started shrieking.
Ew, what's he doing in the girls' bathroom?
Daniel and I ran out laughing like crazy. I was on cloud 9 all that week. I didn't even mind that our maid was coming less, and I was doing all the chores by myself. But Helena couldn't stop talking about me having a boyfriend.
I just don't get it. How can someone like you have a boyfriend but not me? I'm way prettier than you.
Well, not everything is about looks, Helena. As time passed, Kiara started dating a popular jock at school. Her grades were still perfect, and she got much more popular than Helena. Kiara's life and mine were getting better and better, but Helena didn't have anything going for her. One morning, I woke up to find everybody at home, including my parents, which was rare, and Kiara was super sick. Her face looked super bloated, and she had red bumps all over her arms and legs. My parents left me at home with Helena while they took Kiara to the doctor. Helena was surprisingly well behaved and even stayed in to do homework. I decided it was safe to go out and see Daniel for a bit. But as I reached home, my parents and Kiara had also just returned. Guys, what's going on? Kiara, what did the doctor say was wrong?
I have an autoimmune problem. Apparently, every time I get an allergic reaction, this is what'll happen.
My parents left for work then. Suddenly, Kiara looked at her phone and started to cry.
Oh my god, just look what Helena posted.
To my horror, Helena had posted a picture of Kiara with her red skin, bumps, and bloated face on Instagram. Underneath, the caption read, "Even pretty girls have ugly secrets." Just then, Helena came trotting down the stairs all dressed up.
Helena, you're a monster. How could you do something like this?
I couldn't help myself. It was just too funny. Kiara looked totally Instagram-worthy.
Before I could answer, Kiara's boyfriend came down the stairs too.
Here, babe, you forgot your jacket.
Babe, what are you doing here?
Helena invited me over while you and your sister were out. Listen, I can't date you anymore, not after seeing your skin.
He and Helena walked out the door before any of us could say anything. How could Helena do something so sick? I stayed with Kiara the whole day and told my parents everything that had happened. They grounded Helena for 2 weeks. And then the strangest thing happened. Kiara became more popular in school, and kids at school started ignoring Helena. Everyone thought Helena was heartless for stealing Kiara's boyfriend. She became a total outcast. Kiara got a new boyfriend, and Daniel became more and more handsome. By the end of 12th grade, he even got contact lenses. The day before my graduation, my parents pulled me aside.
Jasmine, we were thinking maybe you can apply for an online college.
We still really need you to keep an eye on your sister, sweetie.
Are you kidding me? I've been the family nanny my whole life. It's about time you two took over and taught the twins to be responsible. I deserve to focus on my life now. With that, I walked away, and I spent days applying to my dream colleges. But one night, while I was reading, Kiara ran into my room.
Sis, come quick, it's Helena, she's gone.
What do you mean she's gone? I dashed into Helena's room to find my parents holding a note from Helena.
Helena wrote that she's leaving home to live somewhere else. She didn't even write where.
Dad called the police, and they tracked down Helena's phone. It turned out she was staying with our aunt, who Helena was super close with. We were all relieved, but when we went to pick her up, she refused to come home.
I told Aunt, I don't want to stay with you guys anymore, and she's happy to keep me. I'm not going home with you guys. You can't make me.
Mom and Dad spent hours begging her to come home, but they couldn't persuade her, so we left without her. But my parents were sure she'd cool off and return in a couple of weeks. Except she didn't. She stayed with Aunt for a month. Then 1 month turned into 3 months, and then 6. And Helena refused to speak to any of us. And I left for college soon with Daniel. I kept in touch with Kiara, who told me after some time that Helena had moved out of her aunt's place and was now living with some friend. 4 years later, Daniel and I graduated university with honors, and we started a small software company that met success almost immediately. And soon after, Daniel proposed to me, and of course, I said yes. Life was going great. And then one day, I got the most unexpected call.
Jasmine, it's Helena. Can you meet me today? I need your help.
No, hi, hello, how have you been?
Please, I'm in crisis. I'm texting you the address. Meet me there.
Helena hung up before I could even answer. I felt mad at her, but I just couldn't ignore my little sister. I went to the address and found her sitting on a bench outside a small building. Helena had chopped off her lovely hair, and she looked thin. Helena, what's going on with you?
I started a makeup business, and now I'm in debt. I was wondering if you could lend me the money to pay it off. I'll lose it otherwise.
You shut out your whole family for years, and now you call me out of the blue because you want money?
This is not how I wanted to reach out to you, okay? I wanted to make something of myself first, and make you guys proud of me. I was just never as perfect as you or Kiara, and that just made me jealous and stupid. And I'm sorry for everything. I've been trying to be better. I really believe my business can work, but now I'm in a mess as usual, and I could only think of you. You've always taken care of me.
I was surprised at how sincere and different Helena sounded, and it was good to see her trying at something. I wrote her a check and was about to leave when suddenly I turned back and handed her a wedding invite. I'm getting married in a few months. I'd like for you to come, and I'm sure everyone else would be happy to see you too. A couple of months before the wedding, Daniel took me out to a special dinner.
Jasmine, I've been saving up some money and doing research for years. Moebius, your condition can't be cured, but it can be slightly corrected through surgery. And I just found this amazing surgeon. I just want you to know that you're perfect as you are. But if you want the surgery, I have the money for it.
My eyes filled with happy tears. I agreed to get the surgery, and Daniel was by my side the whole time. The doctor couldn't completely fix my issues, but I felt like a whole different person being able to have real facial expressions. On the day of my wedding, my parents and Kiara were with me in the dressing room when suddenly the door opened and Helena walked in. Everyone looked shocked to see her, but I was so happy she came.
Guys, I know we've all had our issues, but can today be the day we all start to make up?
My parents hugged Helena and we all cried, and even Kiara joined in. Then my parents turned to me.
Jasmine, we're so happy for you and so grateful to you. We know we always put too much responsibility on you, and it wasn't fair.
We want you to know that we really appreciate you, love.
And hearing those words from them meant everything. My sisters walked me down the aisle, and I could hear people smiling and whispering that I looked amazing. Daniel beamed at me as he took my hand.
You have the loveliest smile, Jasmine.
Hi, I'm Mariana from Brazil. Before I tell you my story, please like and subscribe. My parents were incredibly wealthy. Just kidding. We lived in the poorest neighborhood in town. Mom stayed at home and Dad mowed lawns. We barely had any money. Maybe I should have subscribed to this channel and tried to win $1,000. Hey, you should give it a shot. Fingers crossed. But anyways, being poor didn't stop my parents from spoiling my younger brother, Raphael, rotten. You see, Raphael was a genius. By the time he was 8 months old, he could recite his alphabet and count to 100. By the time he was 2, he was doing math equations and solving puzzles.
Our baby is a genius.
He's going to make us so proud!
And what am I, chopped liver? On my 5th birthday, instead of the princess house with the car and pool I wanted, Mom stitched me a doll from old clothes. We just don't have the money, sweetie. But Raphael received a brand new cat robot.
Sweetie, we had to get Raphael something as well.
That wasn't even the worst part. Raphael was permitted to attend school, but I wasn't. My parents claimed it was because Raphael had a unique talent. Therefore, they spent all their money to send him to a private school for gifted children. And they couldn't even afford to buy books for me to go to public school. Life felt so unfair. I felt utterly invisible.
Blah, blah,
The only time my parents saw me was when they wanted me to do some chore around the house. Over time, I just got used to it. And since I couldn't read books to myself, or I didn't have a phone to watch videos, I started sewing to pass the time.
Mariana, what have you done to my curtains?
I fell in love with creating new things from old items. I wanted to become a fashion designer because of the way my parents treated Raphael and me differently. We never grew close, and he always saw me as his slave, even though I was older than him.
Clip my toenails. Clean my shoes.
When I was 11, I pleaded with my parents to send me to a sewing school. Mom, Dad, I deserve to be able to follow my dreams too.
Haha. They can't afford to send you to some pointless sewing school when they're saving up to send me to the most prestigious college in the country.
I'm sorry, Mariana, but we have to support the child who has greater potential and will make the family proud.
With that, Mom and Dad just walked away while Raphael stood there with a smug grin on his face. Oh, I wanted to slap him so hard. It was at that moment I decided I would do whatever it took to get myself into a sewing school. I tried to find a job, but no one wanted to hire an 11-year-old, not even as a clown for birthday parties. When I turned 13, things seemed to improve, and I finally secured a babysitting job. But when my parents found out that I'd been neglecting household chores because of it, they were furious. I was grounded for 2 months, and Dad tore up all my designs that I had stuck on my bedroom walls over the years. I was devastated, but a tiny part of me refused to give up. I knew I had to be smarter this time. When I drew, I hid my drawings under the floorboards of my bed, and when Mom sent me to the supermarket, I'd pass by the wishing fountain and collect all the coins. Don't give me that judgmental look. But after 3 years of saving those coins, it still wasn't enough. Fortunately, my life took an amazing turn when I turned 16, setting things in motion for me. One day, while I was drawing in my room, I was so focused that I didn't notice a girl peeking in at me through the window.
Wow, that looks amazing!
I tumbled out of my chair and hit the floor. The girl then did a backflip through my bedroom window and landed inside. Had the circus come to town? What do you want? Did my parents send you to spy on me?
No, silly. I'm the new neighbor.
Of course, I didn't even let her finish. I just picked her up, tossed her out the window, and closed the curtains. As much as I wanted a friend, I didn't want anyone to know that I couldn't read or write. What would she think of me? But that didn't deter the crazy backflip. Over the next few days, she did everything possible to get my attention, even juggling 3 cats while balancing a mug of water on her head. What a weirdo. One day I decided to take a shortcut home because I had seen a lady with the most amazing outfit and I wanted to get home and sketch it. Just then I heard a man yell behind me.
Watch out!
As I turned, I saw a huge crane ball coming my way. I was in place, but luckily for me, someone pushed me to the ground just in time.
Girl, are you crazy? This is a danger zone. Can't you read?
Oh God, I was sweating like a bald man in spring.
Can you read?
I sighed heavily and shook my head.
That's okay. I can't draw amazing fashion designs like you can. Let's go and grab some ice cream. My treat.
While eating the ice cream, Julia told me that she had moved next door with her parents and older brother Harrison. Also that Harrison was a rotten egg and always got himself into trouble. She also told me that her father lost his job after his boss accused him of stealing money from his office and then blacklisted him so no one else would hire him while her mother worked as a maid for some rich lady. I told her that my parents hated me and wouldn't even let me go to school while they treated Raphael like he was a prince.
What do they think this is? The 16th century? No girl left behind. Woman power.
Over the next few months, Julia taught me how to read and write. She was a great teacher, and I was a quick learner. Julia's mother even supplied me with her old drapes to practice my designs on. As much as I loved my bestie, there was a downside of being neighbors with Julia. Harrison and Raphael became best friends, and they'd go out of their way to make mine and Julia's life a living nightmare. So we stayed out of their way as much as possible. But then one evening, when I was coming home after getting groceries, I saw 2 guys push some guy to the ground and grab his keys. Hey, stop it! The guys looked around and I was shook. Raphael, Harrison!
Let's get out of here!
They hopped into the car and sped off. Was Raphael crazy? That night, I cornered Raphael in his room. What the heck was that stunt you pulled today?
What I do is none of your business.
You're my younger brother. Of course it's my business.
If you tell Mom and Dad anything, I'll tell them that Julia has been tutoring you.
I couldn't afford to lose Julia's friendship, so I kept my mouth shut and kept a close eye on Raphael. I found out that he'd been failing his subjects in school, and he was missing classes to hang out with Harrison and his goons. I was so frustrated that I thought my head was going to explode.
Maybe you should start a podcast to ease some of your frustration.
Talk to strangers about my story? That'll be weird.
Sometimes strangers make the best listeners.
That night, Julia helped me set up an anonymous podcast using her phone. I went by the name Raven, and it felt so good to get so many things off my chest. But what felt even better was reading the comments, encouraging me to follow my dreams despite my parents' unfair treatment. They even encouraged me to open an online store and set up a GoFundMe to get started, and soon my clothes were being sold faster than I could make them. Yeah. I set up a secret workshop in Julia's basement where I worked at night. Over the next 2 years, it was a roller coaster. First, Harrison was arrested for pickpocketing and his father shipped him off to the Navy. When he left, Raphael got 100 times worse, and he was even kicked out of school. And he continued to hang out with the wrong crowd. And my parents always made excuses for him, but my life was super awesome. I saved up enough money to get into the most prestigious fashion school in the country. The only thing left to do was to send in my application, which required me to create any design of my choice.
You've got this, bestie. I'm rooting for you.
Over the next 2 months, I worked endlessly to create the most beautiful ball gown known to man. I needed to get into this school. I had something to prove to myself. A few nights before the submission of my dress, while at Julia's, I saw Raphael enter her bedroom. I snuck up to the door and peeked through the crack. I watched in shock as Raphael was stuffing his pockets with jewelry. Raphael! What on earth are you doing? Raphael gave me one look and jumped through the window like a frog. Julia and her parents had been too good to me to let Raphael get away with this. I ran home, but when I opened the door, the confrontation did an Uno reverse on me. Dad glared at me as he was holding a necklace in his hand.
Mariana, why was this in your dresser?
As if on cue, Raphael walked into the room to examine the necklace.
Wait, isn't that Julia's mother's?
You should know since you stole it.
Raphael told us that he saw you take this.
I didn't steal anything, it was Raphael.
I just don't understand where we went wrong with you.
Me? Raphael's the one who got kicked out of school. Genius, my butt.
We also found cash hidden under the floorboards. Where did you steal that from?
I froze. How did they? My eyes met Raphael's and an evil glint flashed over his eyes. That's my money. I earned it.
Stop lying, Mariana!
I think it's time to teach little Miss Fashionista a lesson that she will never forget. Raphael, bring the dress.
Dress? What dress? The words stuck in my throat when I saw Raphael return with my submission dress. I watched in horror as Mom lit the fireplace and took the dress from Raphael. Mom, please don't!
You will learn your place in this family, Mariana.
My mother threw my dress in the fireplace and it lit up quicker than a barbecue on Independence Day. I tried to get it out, but Dad and Raphael held me back as I kicked and screamed. After a while, my dress was nothing but ashes as an avalanche of tears ran down my face. I knew that my time in this family was up. I wanted to attack my parents and Raphael, but I decided to pack my bags and I went to Julia's. That night, after bawling my eyes out, I did a live podcast and revealed to my listeners what I had just endured under the hands of my parents. This time, I used their real names. Yep, I was done being the nice guy. By the next morning, my parents were chased out of the neighborhood, and the rich lady Julia's mom worked for pulled some strings and she got me another submission date.
Bestie, this dress is even better than the last one.
I have to admit, I really did outdo myself. About 2 weeks later, I received a letter in the mail. Beads of sweat ran down my forehead with trembling fingers. I opened the letter and my jaw dropped.
What does it say?
I got accepted into the fashion school. Yes! I felt as though I were on cloud 9. Over the next 4 years, while I was away at school, Julia went to a community college. I worked hard and came out at the top of my class. I earned a junior position in a fashion company. I even convinced Julia's dad to apply as a manager there, and he got the job. It wasn't long after they were able to move into a nice place. I was finally living my dream. One night after one of the company's shows, I spotted my parents in the hallway waiting for me. What are you guys doing here?
I see you're a fashion designer. I'm so proud of you.
I'm so proud of you. Words I always wanted to hear my parents say, but I knew they weren't sincere. Why are you here? Dad shifted uncomfortably.
Raphael's in trouble. He and some of his friends got caught breaking into a bank, and we need money to bail him out.
And after everything you and Mom did to me, you think that I would help you?
Sweetheart, we're family, and that's what families do. They help each other out.
But where was my family growing up? Where were you when I needed you?
Are you going to help or not?
Not. Had you done your job as parents and parented Raphael instead of letting him wrap you around his finger, he wouldn't be in a jail cell now. As I looked across the room, I saw Julia and her parents waiting for me. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to join my real family. I pushed past my parents and walked toward the people who helped me and never turned their backs on me. Family is not just about blood, but those who stood by you through thick and thin. Have I told you guys how amazing you are?
Not recently, no.
You guys are amazing.
So are you, bestie. I love you, and I'm so proud of you.
I love you too.
Hi, I'm Sophia from New Hampshire. Please like and subscribe. My sister Ivy and I are twins. Dad left before we were born, so I never knew him. Mom raised us on her own, and she was just something else. When we were babies, Mom forced us to wear helmets every day, except for when we slept. We even wore helmets in the bath when she wasn't washing our hair.
Mommy needs you to wear these, so you don't bump your heads and die.
She even placed mats all over the house. When Ivy and I were learning to crawl, our home felt like a massive soft cushion. Worst of all, Mom never allowed us to go outside, except the nearby grocery store sometimes. And she took us to the park once a year on our birthday. But it was only when the house was empty at night, and we were stuck with online homeschooling. The world is full of kidnappers, diseases, and other terrible things that can harm you girls. Neither Ivy nor I understood why Mom was so strict, but I was always getting into trouble. I would bang and kick the walls or throw and break things. I hate this house. Mommy, I want to live outside like a panda.
Pandas do not get brand new iPads.
Yay! I get to play Candy Crush. Ivy never realized that Mom only bought us fancy things to keep us distracted, so we wouldn't try to escape the house. The only enjoyable part about being indoors was when Mom played music on the radio. My favorite was the rock station. But one time, I turned up the volume so loud that it felt like the house was shaking.
Ow, my ears!
I'm taking away this radio. You're lucky you didn't make us all deaf.
I hated Mom, and I was pretty sure she hated me. One day, when I was 8 years old, I woke up to Mom standing on my bed, drilling something into the wall. Mom, what are you doing?
I'm installing alarms that detect anyone trying to go out your window. This way, no kidnappers can get in, and you and Ivy can't get out either. Look, darling, I bought you a giant doll for you.
At that moment, something inside me snapped. I grabbed the giant doll and threw it hard at the window, smashing the glass. And then I jumped outside. Mom screamed. She leapt outside to catch me, but I was running like a lunatic. When I was certain I had gone far enough, I paused to catch my breath. Then I began doing a happy dance. I was free. Suddenly, I heard noise and stomping in the background. A bunch of guys with drums and guitars came marching down the street, and I was so thrilled. I never thought I'd hear music again. As they came closer, one of the guys called out to me.
Why are you hiding behind that tree, little girl?
I don't know. You might kidnap or kill me. Mom warned me about people like you.
What are you talking about? This is a music parade. Come sing with us.
Before I knew it, I was marching with the parade and singing along. It turned out I was a pretty good singer too. But all of a sudden, I saw Mom and Ivy running to me with about 10 cops. Mom took me straight to the doctor to make sure I didn't catch any diseases from being outdoors. For the next 4 years, that was the last time I ever got to be alone.
From now on, I'm never letting you or Ivy out of my sight. I'll work at home. You girls will move into my bedroom.
Ivy and I couldn't even go to the bathroom without Mom standing outside the door. But one night when I was 14, I saw Mom asleep and snuck upstairs to the attic. I needed a moment to myself. But when I got there...
Sophia, what are you doing up here?
What are you doing up here? Are you having a date?
No duh, we're having a date. I did everything to escape all your mom's crazy alarm systems.
Wow, Ivy, I thought you were Mom's good little girl. But don't worry, I'll keep your little secret. But just then, Mom came running upstairs.
What on earth is going on here? Who on earth are you? Get out of my house this instant.
Mom, stop, you're embarrassing me.
Do you know what embarrasses me? That one of my daughters was on a cozy date with a kidnapper or a robber.
I jumped in and said, he's neither of those things. He's my boyfriend. Mom grabbed a baseball bat in the corner as she swung it towards Ivy's date. He ran down the attic as fast as he could. That's when Mom burst into tears and started to pull her hair and yell like a toddler.
That boy in the house could have kidnapped you both. I've done everything to keep danger out of this house. But I failed. I have to send you girls to a strict boarding school with security cameras in every single room.
Good. Send us to boarding school. I'm tired of living with all your crazy rules.
But I don't want to go to boarding school. This is so unfair.
But 2 weeks later, Mom sent us away to boarding school. Ivy refused to talk to me there, and I couldn't take the tension between us. Please don't be mad at me. I even tried to keep your secret. I can't help it that Mom's a psycho.
Just leave me alone.
I grabbed Ivy's arm, but she pulled away. At that moment, Ivy tripped and fell straight to the floor. She started to cry, and tons of teachers came running. I'm sorry, it was a total accident.
I think I broke a bone.
You sound just like Mom. Just because you fell down doesn't mean you broke a bone. But it turned out Ivy broke her leg, and an ambulance took Ivy to the hospital immediately. I probably should have gone with Ivy to the hospital, but something in the hallway made me forget all about Ivy's accident. There were all these photos of famous musicians. In the center was a musician that looked just like my mom when she was a teenager, and the name under it was also Mom's.
Hey, fancy bumping into you again.
I turned around to see the guy from our attic. Aren't you my sister's boyfriend?
Nah, your sister and I just had that one disastrous date. Why were you staring at that picture?
I think this is my mom. She looks exactly like her and has the same name, Jen Zelda.
No, that's Jen Zelda, a teen rock star, but she stopped making music a long time ago. That psycho lady who tried to hit me with a bat is definitely not her.
It's not funny. You don't know what it's like to live with a crazy mom who hates you and spoils you at the same time.
Why do you think I'm in boarding school? My parents sent me here because they don't want me around.
Wow, I'm glad someone else's parents hate them too. I mean, not glad. You know what I mean? Listen, I need your help. I know it's impossible, but I need to find out if that girl in the photo is my mom. Nolan and I spent days researching Zelda, but we couldn't find a picture of her that wasn't old. And no matter what, we couldn't find a reason why she quit her career. And Mom was nowhere on the internet. She was always worried about creeps and kidnappers finding out where she lived.
I don't get it. Just ask your mom about it.
She wouldn't tell me anything. She's crazy. She doesn't even let me listen to music, even though I love singing.
You like singing? Me too!
Before I could answer, I heard a noise behind me. I turned around to see Ivy in a wheelchair.
Sophia, where have you been? You never visited me in the hospital.
Ivy, I'm so sorry. I meant to visit you, but I found something crazy about Mom.
Wait, what's Nolan doing here?
I meant to tell you I transferred here and that your sister and I like each other.
Wait, what?
What do you mean like each other? You never visited me because you were hitting on a guy I dated, Sophia.
What? No, that's not it at all. Get off me. Nolan. Ivy could barely walk, but she limped away as fast as she could. I went after her to apologize, but her door was locked and Nolan followed me around all week.
Come on, I really like you. Ivy will get over it.
I wanted Nolan to leave me alone, even though he was cute and interesting. But when we both auditioned for the school band and got in, it was impossible to avoid him. I really wished Ivy would talk to me so I could tell her what I discovered about Mom. But she just wouldn't, and it was all I could think about. Could it really be that Mom had just been a completely different person before? And what happened to her? 2 weeks later, the day of our show arrived, and just as I stepped onto stage to perform, I froze in my spot. Mom was in the audience. Suddenly, I couldn't remember any of the lyrics to my song. I stood there completely blank as the band played on.
Get on with the song, you freak!
Oh, a loser!
All of a sudden, all the kids started throwing. I wanted to disappear, but then I had an idea. Hey, who wants to hear a former rock star sing? I want to welcome Zelda to the stage. I wanted to see how Mom would react.
Zelda isn't here! Idiot! Her career ended 30 years ago.
Everyone continued booing and throwing things at me. That's when Mom walked on stage and grabbed my microphone.
I knew this school wasn't strict enough.
Hey, it is Zelda.
Mom, is it true you were a rock star?
Never mind that. They let students be in a band. Bands go out at night with gang members and crazy people.
Mom, just sing with me!
Oh no! I know everything you girls have been up to. I downloaded apps on your phones that let me read your messages. This school is stupid and unsafe. And I came here tonight to take you both home.
Mom grabbed my arm and tried to drag me off stage. Kids were laughing like crazy.
It'll be fun. I bought a horse for you and Ivy. I'll go bring him.
What are we going to do with a horse? Why can't you just act normal for once and just sing with me?
Haha, who knew Zelda was a psycho?
I had never felt more humiliated. Before I knew it, I screamed, "Security!" My yell made my mic screech across the auditorium, and to my shock, security guards came running on stage to take my mom away. She cried and kicked her legs in the air.
I need to take them home. I even brought them their own horse.
I felt awful seeing the security guards take Mom away. But she was acting crazier than ever. I thought I'd call her the next morning to see how she was. But just then, Ivy came to my room and said the principal wanted to see us. Ivy and I walked into his office to find him sitting with another man.
Girls, you won't be seeing your mother for a while. She's in the hospital.
In the hospital? Is she hurt?
After what we saw on stage, we did an investigation. Your mother has a condition.
A condition?
It's called schizophrenia. Her brain works a little differently. She worries about things that other people don't worry about.
But she was a singer, wasn't she?
She was an incredible musician. Her condition is why she had to stop. But don't worry, girls. Your mother is in the hospital getting help, and you'll be able to see her soon.
Ivy and I were totally silent, walking out of the principal's office. For the first time in my life, Mom's weirdness sort of made sense. I wonder if that's why Dad left Mom. Because of her condition.
Dad should have taken care of her and inspired her to sing again.
A few weeks later, Ivy and I visit Mom in her treatment center. She was so happy to see us.
I'm so sorry about everything that's happened. And Sophia, I'm so proud of your talent. Music runs in our blood, honey.
In a couple of months, Mom was out of treatment and back home. It took a while for Mom to let go of her crazy rules. She never became completely normal, but she was so much happier. She told Ivy and me all about her life as a rock star. It turned out she and I were more alike than I ever thought.
Jen Zelda really is your mom. And even though she's a little different, she gave you a killer singing voice. You're really going places, Sophia.
Nolan and I ended up dating all throughout high school. At the end of my senior year, we got a job at a production company. We had the opportunity that year to perform in a world tour. One day, I came into work with a present I'd bought to surprise Nolan.
You bought me a baby, babe? Is this your way of telling me I drool?
No, it's my way of telling you I'm pregnant. I know we only finished high school, but I love you, and I want to start a family with you.
What do you mean you're pregnant? We're going on a world tour. It's even in the contract. Don't get pregnant.
I thought you'd be happy.
Happy that you'd want to throw all our dreams away? Happy that we have to pay thousands of dollars to this company?
Maybe this is a sign we shouldn't go on this tour. Then we can raise our baby without anything holding us back.
I love you, and I don't want anything to hold us back. But I'm not ready to be a dad, Sophia. And I'm not going to raise this kid with you.
Nolan, are you leaving me?
I'm sorry.
My life only consisted of two things the next 9 months: pregnancy and debt from all the money I owed the company. I even had to move back in with Mom temporarily.
Don't worry about anything, sweetie. You can raise the baby right here.
Thanks, Mom. Just as long as you don't make him wear a helmet. Ivy and Mom were right next to me in the hospital when I gave birth to my perfect baby boy, Miles. Suddenly, I heard a voice behind me.
Is it cool if I hold him?
Nolan, what are you doing here?
I came to meet the mother of my son and to tell her that I made the biggest mistake of my life leaving her. I know you're not going to forgive me, but I want you to know that I've paid off all the debt to the music studio. I love you, Sophia. And I love our son, too. I always will.
So come back here and hold him then. Miles wants to meet his dad.
You can tell him I'm not going anywhere.
While Mom was at work, I crept into her bedroom and searched her closet and all her drawers for evidence of something. I lifted up a blanket from her bed and almost had a heart attack. Hi, I'm Nancy from China. See, my mom, she was the prettiest girl in our whole town. She literally won the Chinese beauty pageant 5 years in a row and became rich from it. Everyone would stop her in the streets to tell her how beautiful she was. Best of all, Dad adored Mom to bits and was always showering her with gifts. And then I was born.
Oh, darling, she looks exactly like you. Same lips and cheeks.
You and Nancy should compete in pageants together when she gets older.
Well, that's exactly what we did. When I was 3, Mom and I competed in duo pageants, winning every time and soaking out the glory. Then one day, when I was 10, I was in my dressing room when I heard Mom had to be rushed to the hospital.
What's going on? Is she hurt?
It's her skin. It's become completely wrinkled and inflamed. The doctors think she has a rare and untreatable condition.
What do you mean untreatable? I want to see my mom. Now!
No, Nancy, the pageant is in 3 minutes. You'll have to go on without her.
I was totally powerless, but I did end up winning first prize. Sadly, everyone was too depressed to celebrate. Mom looked like a freaking 80-year-old with red lumps on her face.
It's obvious. I won't be able to compete with you anymore. Look at me.
Mom! Don't talk that way. Hell will always be beautiful in my eyes.
Oh, spare me. Nancy, I don't want your pity. I felt so awful.
And as I continued competing in pageants, people constantly compared me to my mom, especially my grandma.
It's heartbreaking what happened to my daughter's skin. It's too upsetting for me to visit her these days. At least you look the way she used to.
Their comments made me furious. I could feel Mom's growing resentment. Worst of all, the tension was affecting my parents' relationship, and they started fighting all the time. Finally, when I was 16, my parents divorced. Mom got custody since she'd been my primary caretaker, and it was then I decided I'd had enough.
I don't want to be in pageants anymore, Mom. I only did them in the first place because of you. And I don't like how bitter and jealous you get every time I compete.
That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Why would I be jealous of my own daughter?
Gee, good question. All I know is it just got worse as I got older.
I quit pageants, and then Mom decided to move to the US, which was a big adjustment. And as soon as we settled, she became even more of a nightmare to be around.
That's a disgusting amount of makeup.
But I'm just wearing lip gloss.
Well, you're wearing too much for a girl your age. Wash it off right this second. I don't understand how you can eat all those pancakes and not blow up like a balloon.
Enjoy it while you can. Luckily, my new school became much happier than my home life. One day at school, I asked around to see if I could get an English tutor. Since I still wasn't comfortable with the language, all the kids recommended the same guy, someone named Gavin.
He tutors for volunteer hours so it won't cost you anything.
Plus, he's gorgeous. Every girl at school has a crush on him.
Oh, well, I'm not looking to date at the moment. I just want to pass my classes.
But when I met Gavin in the library that day, my heart skipped 10 beats. He looked like a storybook prince. How could I concentrate on homework with that smoke show up in my space?
Are you okay? Your cheeks are bright red and you look adorable.
I do not look adorable. I mean, can we get to work, please? My homework isn't going to do itself.
We sat down to study, and I had to admit, Gavin was as brilliant as he was handsome. But when I started doing my math homework, he kept staring at me with his twinkling dark eyes, which made me nervous.
So are you free to go out this weekend?
Excuse me? I don't want to go out at all. You're just here to tutor me.
I know, but I can't fight my attraction for you. I've never believed in love at first sight until now.
Seriously, does anyone fall for your cringy pickup lines?
Face it, Nancy. I'm smart, I'm funny, and I have great hair. You won't be able to resist me for long.
I couldn't help rolling my eyes at that. Maybe I should get a new tutor. Except that same week, I ended up getting an A on 2 exams.
See, I don't disappoint. Now will you go out with me?
Just because you helped me get a good grade doesn't mean I owe you anything.
Come on, just one date.
With that, Gavin pulled out 2 tickets from his pocket, and holy crud, they were too astounding. Sasha concert, my favorite singer.
I've been saving these for someone special, Nancy.
Okay, I'll go, but only because I'm a huge Sasha fan. But this is not a date.
The night of the concert, Gavin came to pick me up at 6. But the second mom saw him, she looked furious and pulled me aside.
Where do you think you're going with that boy?
To Sasha's concert. I already told you I was going with a friend.
Please, do you really expect me to believe Mr. Heartthrob here is just a friend? He'll break your heart just like your father broke mine. You're not going to that concert.
But Sasha's my favorite singer, and you and I both know Dad didn't do anything wrong.
That comment made Mom so angry that she sent Gavin home and me up to my room. I was so mad I was shaking. Then suddenly I heard a noise from my bedroom. It was Gavin.
Hey, I think I'm stuck. You're gonna have to give me a hand.
Oh my God, are you trying to crawl into my room?
Well, you want to go to that concert, don't you? You said you're a huge fan, and if you can fit through this door, you probably won't get.
My heart fluttered as he smiled up at me. There wasn't any harm in going on a date with him, was there? So I crawled over and we went to the concert, and we're running over an hour late.
This is all Mom's fault. It's because of her. We left during rush hour. She's becoming even more of a train wreck since the divorce.
Your parents are divorced? Wow, small world.
Your parents are divorced too?
Well, actually, Mom left us a couple of days ago. She met some guy at work and is leaving my dad to be with him.
Wow, immense. So sorry.
It's fine, I'll get through it.
Gavin didn't seem to want to talk about it anymore. The concert was almost over when we arrived. But Gavin has an idea.
If we stood here, we would have time to listen to the last song.
The last song was a slow one, and I closed my eyes, swaying my shoulders in the wind.
I know your mom isn't perfect, but you sure are beautiful like her.
Ugh, I hate it when people compare me to my mom. Can I be my own person? I'm more than just a pretty face.
I know that. You also have pretty hair.
I slapped him right then, and he leaned in for a kiss. I felt fireworks between us. Then suddenly Gavin pulled away.
No, I can't do this.
What do you mean?
I don't want to fall for you. I'm scared of getting hurt. I don't want what happened to my parents to happen to us.
Dude, we're in high school. I'm gonna run off with some other guy. Your parents' failed relationship doesn't mean you have to live in fear.
But Gavin just said taking me to the concert was a mistake and started driving me home. I felt like such an idiot. Thankfully, Mom was in bed when I got home, and I fell asleep with no trouble. Then, at around 5 a.m., I felt someone's hands on my head. It was Mom.
Nancy goes back to sleep.
At that second, I spotted a pair of scissors in her hands.
What are you doing with those? And why are you holding a strand of my hair? Are you cutting my hair in my sleep?
I just need a couple of strands.
What? Why?
Please don't ask questions.
No, I will ask questions. You can't just cut my hair in my sleep without telling me why.
Watch your tone, young lady. I'm not doing anything wrong here. You need to learn to respect your elders and bite your tongue.
Mom stormed out of my room and slammed the door. She grounded me for a week, but I wasn't gonna let her scare me. While Mom was at work, I crept into her bedroom and searched her closet and all her drawers for evidence of something. Then finally, I lifted up a blanket from her bed and almost had a heart attack. On her bed was an open cardboard box with a pile of my hair strands. How long had she been collecting my hair? I wasn't sure what she was gonna do with it, but I knew one thing for sure. I needed to get away from her. I thought about booking a flight to China to go back and live with Dad. Except what if he didn't allow me to? The next day at school, I was in the library, when suddenly I saw Gavin sitting across from me reading a book. Oh darn, I'd forgotten to cancel our tutoring sessions.
Nancy, hey!
Hi. Look, I won't be needing any more tutoring sessions. I'm moving back to China.
Wait, what? You're leaving?
Yes, and I don't know when I'll be back. You made the right choice not to kiss me at the concert. We would have both ended up hurt. Everyone I've ever been close to in my life has done me wrong or got separated from me. You were right to protect your heart, Gavin.
He stared at me with sad eyes, and I couldn't bear being around him anymore. I went back to the house so I could secretly pack my bags and leave home. But that night, Mom knocked on my door.
Do you have a minute?
What's going on? What's in that box?
Your 18th birthday is tomorrow, so I made you a present.
Oh man, my birthday. I'd completely forgotten. What's this?
You asked why I was collecting strands of your hair. Well, it was to make a quilt with something called dong tai hair embroidery. It's an old Chinese practice. You sew hair strands onto a piece of white silk. My grandmother started a tradition where a mother would embroider a piece, pass it down to their daughter, who would continue the work and keep working on it until it was finished. Then the next daughter in line would receive the quilts as a gift. And that's you.
I was shocked. Mom hated me. There was no reason she'd want me a part of any family tradition.
I don't even remember the last time you gave me any presents, let alone something like this.
Well, it's your 18th birthday, and it's an old family practice. My mother used to tell me back when we were close that she wanted me to continue it. And you are my daughter after all.
Mom hugged me awkwardly, and I tried to feel happy. Maybe I didn't have to run away from home after all. My mother loved me, but I still couldn't sleep that night. I felt in my gut something was off, that Mom didn't give me that blanket for the reasons I thought she did. Suddenly, I heard voices coming from the other room that sounded like a FaceTime conversation.
I can't believe you made me go through all that work to give Nancy that dung tie blanket. She barely even said thank you. I shouldn't even have to ask you to pass that blanket down to your own daughter. I had to offer to take Nancy for the summer so you'd agree to do it, like I haven't already passed down enough to her. Nancy is prettier than I ever was and won more pageants than I ever did. I did what you told me. I gave her the stupid quilt. What more do you want from me?
Well, that all made more sense. Of course, Mom hadn't changed. And of course, she hadn't grown to love me. I refused to speak to both her and Dad that week. And one night, after Mom went to sleep, I threw the dung tie quilt into the fire with my strands of hair and 2 generations worth of work. At school, I still saw Gavin, but I avoided him too. After all, I told him I was leaving the country on the last day of the semester. I was taking my finals, but I was panicking because I didn't know any of the answers. I tried to calm myself with deep breaths, when suddenly some kids ran in.
Miss Benson, someone broke into your car.
And that's when Gavin walked in and sat next to me.
We only have like 2 minutes tops. Give me your test. I'll finish it for you.
No, Gavin, I can't ask you to do that.
But he'd already taken my test and was filling in the answers.
Why was he helping me?
So obviously you didn't move to China in the end.
No, not yet, but I still might, just to get away from everything and everybody. I don't understand, Gavin. Why did you do this for me?
Because I still care about you. I know I wasn't ready to kiss you that night at the concert, but part of me regrets that.
Really?
Yeah. I don't want my parents' divorce to scare me away from falling in love. You told me that night, nothing is worth living in fear for.
Gavin pulled me close and I felt my heart skip a beat.
Maybe you're right, Gavin. Because my mom didn't know how to love me doesn't mean there aren't other people out there who do.
You mean, like me?
Slow down, buddy. We're not there yet.
I leaned over and kissed him right then. For the first time in ages, I walked home feeling happy. But when I entered the house, I found Mom sitting in front of the fireplace crying.
I can't believe you burnt the family quilt, a 3-generation quilt.
It wasn't a 3-generation quilt because you were never gonna pass it down to me. You only did it because Dad told you to. You know what? I'm done putting up with this. I'm moving out of this house. I'm not gonna live with you anymore.
That summer, Dad let me stay with him in China, as he promised, and Gavin and I applied to the same college and got in. Even after returning to the US, I didn't see Mom, and I also blocked her phone number. But one night at college, I was awake studying when I got a freaking message from Mom on TikTok begging me to call her.
Oh, honey, I'm so glad you called. I've been wanting to talk to you and make amends for a while.
Too late for that. Mom, I really don't have time to talk. I have midterms tomorrow.
Nancy, you didn't let me finish. I've been seeing a therapist and working through my issues. I want to be better. I want a fresh start.
Well, I am glad to hear you're finally getting help. I know you've been suffering for a while, but I can't just forget the way you've treated me all those years. Maybe one day I can forgive you. I just don't know when that'll be.
I understand. Well, if you ever do want to start over, my home is always open to you. I love you, and I'm sorry about everything.
Thanks, Mom. I've always wanted to hear those words from you.
Hi, my name is Anna, and I'm from Ohio. Please like and subscribe. My parents always dreamt of being world-famous singers, but they could never become anything more than background vocals. So when me and my sister Tanya were born, Dad taught me all about music, while Tanya was Mom's favorite, 'cause she was the pretty one. Everyone admired her emerald green eyes and blonde hair. Once when we were 5, a woman even tried to steal her from the park.
Let go of my sister or I'm gonna scream!
It'll give you $10, kid! Let go of her hand!
Tanya and I struggled until she let go and ran away. Before the police came, Tanya hugged me tight.
Anna, you saved me. No one touches you on my watch, sis.
Even growing up, she always had everyone's attention, whereas I enjoyed my simple life. But then in 10th grade, things took a wild turn. One day after school, we got home to see Dad being rushed to the hospital. He had a heart attack. A week passed by and we found out he wasn't going to get better unless he had this really expensive surgery. And we didn't have money for it. Mom was thinking about selling the house when out of the blue she got a phone call. After she hung up, she screamed like crazy.
My former agent told me they're looking for new talent and they're going to pay huge money.
She told us about a music audition that was happening in another week and asked us to grab the opportunity. On the day of the audition, everyone was stunned by Tanya's looks. But when she opened her mouth, they all covered her ears.
Hello, from the other side.
Someone grabbed the mic from her hands or shut off the speakers. I can't stand her voice.
Well, he was over-exaggerating, but not entirely. Tanya couldn't sing a note, not even in the bathroom. A few minutes later, it was my turn, and when I started singing, the producers looked mesmerized.
You come and wake me every night. You say you missed the concept of you and I.
After a long discussion, they announced they were going to sign both of us. But there was one condition. They wanted me to sing. But in the background for Tanya, she would lip sync to my voice.
No, that's wrong. We won't be doing that.
But Tanya held my hand with teary eyes.
Please, sis, you have to do this. We need the money. But Tanya...
Anna, my love, the future of our family rests on your shoulders. Now, think about your dad. Think about our family, honey.
So, I agreed.
After we signed the deal, all of Dad's hospital bills were paid, and he came back home all healthy in a month. And then it was just me and Tanya and the non-ending music videos and tours around the country. Everywhere Tanya went, people would go crazy for her. These people were nuts. And clearly this was getting to Tanya's head, because when we returned to school after summer break, she started acting like a queen and a bully.
Get out of my seat! That's my spot! Don't you know who I am?
The guy didn't even flinch and kept munching on his sandwich, and Tanya looked as furious as a dragon.
Hey, it's okay. We can take another seat. Maybe he can't hear.
But she just picked up a bottle full of mustard and dumped it on his head.
You've got to be frickin' kidding me!
I'm sorry about my sister. She's a little. Please let it go. He'll pay for your jacket later.
I grabbed Tanya's hand as I pulled her out of there.
Have you lost your mind? Didn't you see he was acting as if he didn't know me? Tanya, you're not the president, and you should.
Whatever. Anna, you didn't have to say sorry to him. He's a jerk.
Saying that, she stormed away. Ugh, such a diva. Later, after school was over, I went into the music room to practice my singing. But just as I finished, I heard someone clap behind me, and I was shocked to see the guy from the cafeteria. Brandon.
That voice. That's your sister's voice when she sings, isn't it?
Oh God, what now? But he didn't know anything for sure.
I thought you didn't know her, and now you know her voice.
I never said that. She just assumed it. I know who she is, and now I know her little secret.
You know nothing.
With every sentence, he kept getting closer. As I was backing away, I tripped over something and he caught me.
What are you even doing here? Everyone's gone.
But you're still here, and you kinda owe me something. You said you'll pay for my jacket. I'm here to collect the money.
Right? What was I even thinking? I gave him some money from my bag and ran out of there. A few days later, while I was in the library, Tanya came to me.
I want you to go and give this to Brandon and tell him that I want to meet him at the cafe tonight.
What? Why? What are you up to now?
Didn't you see? He ignored me. He isn't like the other guys who were running after me 24/7. I like him. I want him. I want to make him my freaking boyfriend.
Well, then you go and talk to him. Why should I do it?
Because of me. Duh. I'm a superstar. I can't make the first move. I don't want to look desperate. Do it for me, please.
Reluctantly, I left a note on his table and asked him to come to the cafe and ran out of there. Later, Tanya asked me to tag along, And just when we reached the cafe, she saw some random people with cameras there.
Oh no, paparazzi. I can't be seen with anyone. My contract doesn't allow me to date publicly. Anna.
But what about Brandon? He is waiting for you.
Can you please go and tell him I'll see him tomorrow at school? Okay, thanks. Bye.
Saying that she ran into a cab and rode away. Now I had no choice but to inform Brandon myself.
So I went in. Hey, I'm sorry, but...
I thought you wouldn't come and that this was some stupid prank. But I'm glad you're here.
What? Me? Wait! Did he think I was the one who called him here? Shoot, I wanted to tell him everything. But he looked so happy to see me and he'd ordered all my favorite food items. I thought I could wait another few minutes before telling him. But as time went by, things just kept getting better and better. He was pretty cool. After our little date, he walked me back home. This was my chance to tell him the truth. But he just pulled me in for a kiss. And gosh, it was amazing. Suddenly, I heard Tanya coming out the front door, and I pushed him away into the bushes and rushed in. The next day, I was looking for him everywhere to tell him the truth. But I found Tanya was already talking to him in the corridor.
Freaking fishes! What do you mean you don't like me? Then why did you show up at the cafe last night?
What? Are you crazy? I wasn't waiting for you. I was there for Anna. I wouldn't date someone as mean as you, even if you were the last girl on Earth.
How dare you!
Tanya slapped him hard and ran out of there, and all the kids were recording everything on their phones. This was bad. I ran after Tanya, but she pushed me away.
Get lost. Anna, I told you I liked him, but you trapped him first.
Tanya, stop it. I didn't do anything. He liked me from the beginning, and you sent me to him.
Yeah, it was my biggest mistake thinking I could trust you. Traitor, witch.
She jumped onto me and grabbed my hair, and we broke into a huge fight. Mom and Dad were called in, and the principal showed them the videos the kids had recorded. He said Tanya's behavior was getting worse day by day, and she was suspended for a month. I felt so bad and went to hug her later that night and told her I wasn't going to see Brandon anymore, and she immediately hugged me. But when I went to my room, Brandon was already waiting there.
Why are you avoiding me? And what was your sis talking about today?
Brandon, you can't be here. Get out now.
Hey, why do you look so tense? Tell me what happened.
He pulled me close into his arms and I just melted. I told him everything honestly. And then he looked into my eyes.
I won't force you to like me, but if you do, I won't let anyone keep you away from me, Anna.
He moved in to kiss me, but just then Tanya came into my room with a fire extinguisher in her hand and sprayed it all over us.
I knew it, you ugly cow. I knew you're a filthy backstabber, and I'm gonna destroy you both.
Suddenly, Mom and Dad came running too, and she was taken back to her room, and I was grounded for a week for inviting a boy. We had a big concert soon, and though I was super mad at Tanya, I still had to help her because of our contract. As usual, I was singing backstage while the entire crowd was cheering for Tanya. After the performance was over, she was given an award for star performer. Even Mom and Dad were called on stage.
You guys must feel truly blessed to have a daughter with the voice of an angel.
It's an honor. We're so lucky to have her.
For some reason, I felt really left out and I smashed my mic on the ground. Just then, someone from the audience asked Tanya to dedicate a song to Mom. Holy moly. Tanya made this gesture with her hands. That was my cue to sing every time. But my mic, it was lying broken on the floor. She started singing without me and everyone in the audience heard her real voice. Oh my God! A wave of silence passed through the audience, and Tanya looked at me super mad. The crowd started chanting that she was a fraud who did lip syncing. They went mad and started climbing onto the stage. The bodyguards immediately took Tanya and my parents away to safety and left me there all by myself. How could they? I ran out of the venue and I was raging mad. I did so much for them and they didn't care about me one bit. But when I reached home, I was shocked to see a huge crowd gathered in front of my house. What in the world was happening just then? My phone went buzzing like crazy with videos and messages from everyone. Tanya's bullying and lip-syncing videos were going viral, and someone uploaded my video as the real singer to Holy Mother of Jesus. I quickly went into the house through the back door, and on seeing me, Tanya viciously threw a vase at me. Just then, I saw all the singing awards and trophies she was burning in the fireplace.
Oh my God, have you gone crazy?
Why would you do that? What were you thinking, trying to ruin me?
What? Are you kidding me? It was an accident.
Oh, was it? Or is it because you want some fame for yourself now? Just remember this, you witchin. People hear your voice because of my face. Otherwise, no one would ever pay you, even if you sang on the roadside.
Who was this monster?
You're such a mean, self-absorbed brat, Tanya. I can't believe you'd say that to me when the fact is, you're only a star because of my voice. Without me, you're just a pretty dumb face.
Tanya pulled the scissors nearby and rushed at me with all her force.
You took away everything from me, the guy I loved, my reputation at school, and now my fame, too. I'm gonna kill you.
Thankfully, Mom and Dad came in and stopped her just in time.
Stop this madness right now. I can't believe we were so blinded by your beauty and fame that we never realized what a monster you were turning into.
Dad grabbed the scissors from her hand and threw them away.
Anna, we're so sorry. We've never truly appreciated you for everything you've done for us. You're the daughter that every parent would be proud of. Please forgive us.
Oh, Mom, Dad,
You people are just morons. And I'm not letting go of my fame so easily. Watch this. I'm gonna walk out, and everyone is still gonna love me.
Tanya opened the front door and walked out, and all the media surrounded her.
So is it true you can't sing? And that creepy frog voice we heard, was it your real voice?
And who's the real singer? Is she your sister? We want to see her. You're just fake trash.
Just then, a bunch of anti-fans started throwing eggs and rotten tomatoes at her. She was screaming like crazy and pushing through the crowd to get to her car, and well, I was enjoying it. She was totally getting what she deserved. I thought I'd get a better view for my room, so I went up and found Brandon there. I immediately hugged him.
Whoa, the truth's all out now, and I can't believe I'm dating the real star. I'm excited for your famous life now.
No, Brandon, I just want a peaceful life. And if you're with me to enjoy some kind of popularity, you got the wrong girl.
No, babe, I don't care about what you choose. Just as long as I can be with you always.